let's talk movie stars. Let's talk movie stars. And we talked about how Chris Hemsworth, we wish we saw this in theaters. He's one of the few actors or action stars that you could put solo on a poster, promote a movie around him, an action franchise around him, and people will turn up to theaters. So I was thinking for an exercise at the end of this podcast, we could list 5 names. You have a list, I have a list. I assume we're going to have some crossover and also differentiation between the two. Who in 2023 can be on that poster and then make money off a film? And there's a lot of people that Hollywood has tried and attempted to be that person, like a Chris Hemsworth, and failed so many different times. It's hard to find that one person that has the charisma, charm, and presence, you know? And there's other people that have been doing it for decades that still matter like as much now as they did back in the 90s and even the 80s. So, Ricky Flex, let's talk. We have 5 names each. Who do you think? Modern day action stars. Who are they, if you can even name 5?
Oh, I have a huge list.
Well, okay, but give me 5 here.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I think there's a lot, and
A lot.
I think it's weird. Yes, I think so. But my number 5 literally just doesn't go with what you were just saying. Like, I have Liam Neeson as my number 5.
Okay, no,
So, like, what is the?
because it's like someone now. Like Liam Neeson had his moment as an action star. Like he's not even making action movies anymore.
I thought I was doing like 21st century, like since 2000.
No, I'm saying like now. You make a movie, an action movie that has no IP related to it. Let's make an action hero. Boom.
Okay.
Put it in theaters.
My list.
Sorry, I should have explained it beforehand a little bit clearer. But I'm talking about, for example, you don't even have to do a ranking. I'm just looking for 5 names because this is hard to do. Like the first name that comes into our head should be Tom Cruise.
Yes.
Tom Cruise, like Top Gun Maverick, all right, Mission Impossible, where it's somehow those movies are improving over time and pushing the boundaries and limits. Excuse me, there are no limitations for this guy, but like he is doing things that we didn't think possible, not only for a 60-year-old man, but just an actor in general, right? So Tom Cruise is someone that could be in, I think, a no-name project, and people will go see it because it's Tom goddamn Cruise, you know? So he's definitely like the first name you think of.
He's the first name you think of without a doubt, no matter what. That's especially after Top Gun Maverick, he took the crown. If we're doing that, then you have to mention The Rock.
I have him because he is someone who is one of the few that has had movies that have just been random action films. He's like a lower tier of what Arnold was, you know?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, like someone obviously big before they became an actor, has this like big bravado about them, not necessarily like the best actor in the world, but someone that people will turn out to see. The Rock is definitely in the top 5.
Okay.
Yeah. No, you're not. Now we're on the same page, and I'm just gonna go with it because it's interesting. Usually, you think of like action stars, you think of like Schwarzenegger, you think of Sly Stallone, right? Bruce Willis. Those people, like in their heyday, 80s, like they're on the younger side. A lot of the people that we're listing here are people that have proven that they could, over like decades, that they could be this type of actor, or they've been doing and leading these movies for quite some time. And like another example here is Keanu Reeves. Like Keanu Reeves is still like a top 5 bankable action star in the world. And he's 60 years. He's over. Is he over 60 now, or he's right? He's right around Tom Cruise.
Just below, I believe. I'll double check.
But obviously, what he's done with John Wick, right, from 2014, and then like once again, like pushing, right? What is the capabilities of an actor in an action star? And you think about where he started. He didn't start off as an action star, right? He morphed into an action star over time, like from the character that we got from Matrix to now, right? Just kept evolving, and an unbelievable work ethic. You know, him and Tom Cruise, like they're really doing the unthinkable. And then The Rock's 3. Who else is on your list?
Keanu's turning 59 this year, so yeah, just before. Okay, I have to mention this guy. And I think when you say a guy that doesn't need IP around, but will make money at the box office, it's Jason Statham.
I didn't
The
have him on my
Meg,
list. That's
dude.
okay.
How is the Meg making over $100 million?
That's a that's a good pull. I think he's just outside. You
He's
could have him on your list. I'm not saying like you could have him.
I think him like I think there's so many good hand-to-hand combat action stars, right? But they don't make a lot of money at the box office, right? I think Jason Statham just like he just churns out the money. Always.
Yeah.
It's so impressive. And he's one of those guys where he does rely quote unquote. His talents is the hand-to-hand combat. It is, and it's so impressive. Like The Rock, it's his strength and his charisma, and yada yada yada. Statham's like his actual abilities. I give him high praise. That's why I have him in my list.
Yeah, and you're right with the Meg comment. It's like that movie has no business getting a sequel. And I think it is heavily because of Jason Statham that movie was successful. Uh, he kind of reminds me like if I was to say like best action stars, like he is definitely on the list because of what he can do on screen. Like if it was just like pure like what their talents are, I'd be like Donnie Yen should be like a
Yeah.
top 5 action star right now. But you can't really have an American movie that is centered on Donnie Yen in 2023 that's going to do well at the box office. We have actually like evidence that Jason Statham can do this. But I have a question because I think Chris Hemsworth is in this top 5. I included him in this top 5.
Really?
I think Chris Hemsworth, if you see him on a poster with a movie over Jason Statham, you're going to see the Chris Hemsworth movie.
So I tried not to pick people that either have superhero backing, right? Or just like huge IP. So like another name that we should talk about is Chris Pratt.
Yes. I think Chris Pratt is an interesting example because it's more about because Chris Hemsworth is a believable action star. He looks the mold of an action star. He is right, rock star, good looks, jacked, charisma, charm, funny. He brings everything. He is the full package. Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt, the other Chris, he's not jacked. He's not like a specimen on the big screen. He has done it before, like first Guardians of the Galaxy. He's tried to do it Jurassic World. I think he's a name. If you put it on a poster, people will show up, but it could be an animated movie too. But he's not like an action star in my eyes.
Okay. Yeah,
he's just like a
I agree.
actor.
I agree with that. But like the reason I bring him up when we're talking about Chris Hemsworth is that if you look at his work outside of Thor for action movies, it's like it's just Extraction. And I think with the trend right now, yes, then yeah, on screen, I totally agree. But again, box office was a part of the argument here. And again, streaming, we talked about it earlier.
List. He might be on this list. God damn it. Terminal list.
It's so tough. It's so tough. And like there's other people too that
Tomorrow War. Fuck.
Tomorrow War.
He's on this list. He is.
Like right? Like it's crazy. It is crazy. But yeah, like I think the top 4 for me, Tom Cruise, The Rock, Keanu, Statham. Those were like I was like those are definitely the first names I thought of. Boom, on my list. I think it's a fight for the 5th. I don't think you could do Wahlberg anymore. I think Infinite took him out, and Spencer Confidential. Yes, you could believe Netflix or not. I don't think you have Wahlberg in, but it does satisfy the criteria we talked about. It's a tough one for the 5th spot.
It's Charlize Theron. Let's go the opposite. Let's go to the opposite sex here, right? And like think about what she's doing with the Old Guard. The sequel to the Old Guard coming. Think about Mad Max. It's almost 10 years ago now, so it's not very recent. You talked about Atomic Blonde earlier. I think if she's on a poster and she's obviously a very versatile actor, someone who's won an Oscar, but also is like a villain in the Fast and Furious franchise. Talking about range, what's going on there? Yeah, I think she can sell a movie. And I don't think there's other female action stars that can. Like she is kind of, it's like you think of like Aliens and you think about Ripley like on the cover of like a poster for Aliens to like promote that film, like Sigourney Weaver. I think like you could have that with Charlize Theron. She's like this, like her in Mad Max, like she is like you could have like Tom Hardy with the face mask, but people think of like the iconic look of a shaved headed Charlize Theron, like a badass
Yeah.
heroine that we don't see at all. You know, you can say Michelle Yeoh, but she's not like no one that's gonna go to a movie for Michelle Yeoh to be an action star anymore. Not in 2023, especially with her age at this point and everything everywhere all at once did so much, and she was amazing in that movie. But you can't just like have this like new franchise that's birthed with Michelle Yeoh and people are like, yes, let's go see that. Like, I don't see people buying that in the action realm.
Right. I agree with that. Charlize was my number 6. But I think I think 5 actually, now that you say that, I might have to put her as number 5. Other people I had for women, like Emily Blunt was one.
Edge Tomorrow.
Well, that was a
10
long
years
time
ago.
ago.
Yeah.
Look at now though, Quiet Place.
Yes, more to do in the second movie.
Not as much action, which is why she's not on my list. But I just thought I should bring up the name because I think that's a lot of people.
Jungle Cruise a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit there. Another name.
She's capable. She's also like she should be someone you put on a poster and everyone's going to go see it in an action movie. She can do that. I think she can. She just doesn't. You know,
right? And I think another name that I was thinking about, but I didn't because of the IP attachment, and also not a true blue committed action star, is Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, and
I think she's unbelievable, but she's not committed, which is fine.
And she's more interested in doing like Asteroid City, working with great like dramatic directors. I think that's where her interests lie following Black Widow. And if she was, that's a name that should be like, she could sell an action movie.
Yeah, like so like another thing I thought it was like Black Widow didn't do great at the box office, right? I think a lot of the people that went to see that, like, or bought it from Disney Plus, like us, was like, hey, we need to see this to understand the MCU, but are we like going forward to see Black Widow? Maybe, maybe not. Florence Pugh is great in it too, but like it wasn't the same draw as like a Charlize Theron for me in an action movie, even though Scarlett Johansson on screen and the stunts equally, if not better, in some people's opinion, than a Charlize Theron. So it teach their own.
I got another one, right? So like if we were to break it up male, female, like we're talking about like Charlize Theron could lead an action movie, right? You could have Emily Blunt and Scarlett Johansson. I think that's like the big 3, except Scarlett Johansson's kind of like took herself out of this argument. For the males, we had like Keanu Reeves, Cruise, The Rock, Hemsworth, Pratt. That's like the 5. And you brought up Jason Statham. I don't see eye to eye with necessarily that one. What about Jason Momoa? Is Jason Momoa also someone that could sell maybe a new movie? Like we just saw we did Fast and Furious. We know he's Aquaman at least for one more movie. And he had that TV show on Apple TV, See, right? I think that was also in the action realm. Do you think he should be like in the contention for a top 5 spot here?
I don't, because to be honest, I haven't like you mentioned some of the projects. I haven't really seen him like besides Aquaman do anything where he's actually like fist to fist, like hand to hand combat, and Fast X, but like that at the end of the day, it's Vin Diesel, who we didn't bring up, by the way. Scotty Furious would not be happy with that. But like that's Vin Diesel Vin Diesel is leading the charge on Fast X, not Jason Momoa.
That's true. I'm just trying to think of because like he had a couple moments here where like early on in his career, people were like projecting him to be one of this new wave action stars, but it kind of
I could see him doing it now. Him realizing that his Aquaman,
like Khal Drogo, he was Conan. Remember, he was the Conan remake. Remember that?
I honestly think that once Aquaman's off his desk, off the table, then yeah, he could become into the top 5. But for now, not enough yet. Compared to the people that we named, like I just don't think so.
He's someone that could be on this list. He does like strictly action films, dude. Like series like Braven, Frontier, Aquaman. I'm just looking at the filmography. Dune.
Dune.
He is,
but he's not the guy in Dune. Like he's not the guy leading the charge. Right. And the movies that you did mention that he does lead the charge in, I haven't even seen those.
$1 billion for Aquaman, leading man of a DC film when like people weren't really buying DC.
We'll see how Aquaman 2 does.
Yeah, dude. Okay. Early on predictions or projection. What are you giving in terms of box office to Aquaman 2? What's it making worldwide?
Oh, worldwide. Oh my
Worldwide.
god.
Not opening weekend, just like overall gross of the
Like
movie.
I I don't even want to say it beats Black Adam.
Wow. Okay. So you think it's like it's gonna compared to the first one that made $1 billion. You're thinking this movie's gonna make like 400 mil max.
I don't remember the exact numbers Black Adam did, but yeah, man, we haven't seen anything. We honestly don't know what even the plot of this movie is going to be. We have heard nothing, which I love. But again, we're 6 months out. We got to hear something soon. We have to see something soon. A teaser. This is where DC, just even with new people at the helm, still out of control. No organizations right yet. So I'm not ready to put a number on Aquaman, except I got to be a pessimist here in the situation.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me like when Avatar 2 was coming out, and I was like, hey, I was getting real bold with it. I'm like, okay, Avatar 2, I don't even think it's gonna make $1 billion. And it goes on to make $2 billion. Like it's insanely successful. And I just underestimated people actually did like the first Avatar and went out to see that movie, you know? And if people went out to see the first Aquaman, like, do they care about the DC universe, like in the issues of it and all that stuff, or are they going to still show out for Aquaman
Mhm.
too? I'm very fascinated by what the box office is going to look like there.
Just because you mentioned Avatar, I have to mention one more lady on my list here, actress
Sayer.
Zoe Saldana, who's awesome, love her. She
Yeah.
cannot be even close to the top five, even though she's monetarily the highest grossing woman actress, highest grossing actress in Hollywood, and second, second or first, I forget, to Samuel Jackson for highest grossing actor box office numbers. It's crazy how much
I
money she makes, but she's not the lead in any of the roles.
Mhm.
She's Avatar. You don't see her face. It's yeah, my point there.
I just think she's an awesome team player. She works well with everybody, and
She's great.
she knows how to be a part of successful franchises, right? In action films, and she's not the reason those movies are successful. She's not bad. She doesn't hold the movie back, right? But she's not like people aren't going to see Avatar because they're saying to themselves, "I can't wait to see Zoe Saldana and her chemistry with Sam Worthington." No one's saying that for goddamn Avatar, bro. No one's going to the Guardians of the Galaxy and saying, I can't wait to see Gamora compared to like, Rocket Raccoon in volume 3 or seeing Groot. Like she's not like the reason you go, but she also makes the movie a little bit better. She's not an all-star, right? But she's like averaging 16 15, 16 a game, right? At the power forward position. She's taking down like 8.5 rebounds a game, helping the team, right? Have a couple extra chances on the offensive end. She is talented, but she's not like the people we talked about, like Charlize Theron. She ain't that. Um, any other names that we can kind of bring up here? People that can carry an action film?
I I have another name, but it's Bond, so it doesn't count. It's Daniel Craig.
Yeah, and he's shifting away a little bit,
A
you
little
know?
bit.
Mhm.
We'll see if he commits though. I'm not so certain if he will, but we'll see. As in obviously away from Bond. I mean from the
I
act.
don't think he liked the physicality of like Bond.
He's complained about it.
He didn't like training for it all the time. He had to do a lot of his own stunts and everything like that. I think yeah, it was a different take on Bond than what audiences were familiar with. Like the like losing like this like he still was suave and cool, but he was just like had a brutalness to him. Now a brutality is the word.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just can't see him returning to it because he's getting older too. He's like 50. So,
Yeah, he's
and
old.
I think
Yeah,
he's done.
he
It's just like
looks it.
I'm done. I'm not playing James Bond. I'm not doing any like working out to like such extremes where I'm like he's like Tom Cruise or Keanu Reeves at this point. I can't see him going there.
And there's another name I have to mention just because like I don't put him as an action star, but you could if you wanted to, and it's Brad Pitt. If you
Yeah,
said today, top
you
five
could sell a
action star,
movie, right?
yeah,
And
and
there's
Bullet Train,
this is the difference where it's like sell a movie and sell a movie and be a pure action star. He's not like a pure action star.
I agree. I think I'm interested to see where his career goes from here. See how many more Bullet Trains he does. How many more like he was also in the Sandra Bullock Channing Tatum movie, Lost City. more prominent than I thought he was going to be, not just a cameo in that movie. So if he does more action movies, he might turn into an action star. But hopefully he doesn't. He keeps going with the other stuff. Maybe even a Tarantino last appearance in Tarantino's last movie. Would love that.
All right. So let's go through what our list is. Pure action stars, modern day. Okay. So if I pull up the list, we got Keanu Reeves. Yes. Tom Cruise, obviously. The Rock, yes. Chris Hemsworth, yes. Chris Pratt, yes. Action star. Charlize Theron, yup. And then who else do we say?
Mark
Any other
Wahlberg.
Nah.
He's out. But like we already said more than 5 names.
All right, so let's chop it down. Keanu Reeves, Tom Cruise in.
Yeah.
The Rock in.
Yes, definite.
I think we have to have diversity on this list.
I think Charlize Theron should be on the list.
So Charlize Theron on the list. And now becomes that 5th spot. I think it's really between Chris Hemsworth and Chris Pratt.
Right, you're not a Statham guy. You're not a Statham guy.
You're never gonna sell me on Statham.
I can't believe
when I say those names.
Nez would be so upset with you.
Fine, that's okay. I'm gonna take the guy from Jurassic World,
IP.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
IP.
Which is fine. But he's also in the Terminal list, which kicks ass. So it's like
I still haven't seen that, but streaming.
But I like that. When I read the filmography of Chris Pratt, I'm like, damn, it's not just like the voice performances. It's in it. It's gonna make money, but he is an action star.
He is. I would pick Chris Pratt over Chris Hemsworth. I said it.
Wow. Yeah.
I would. It's not like I like Chris Pratt more. By the way, I don't.
When you see him in Guardians as Quill in Volume 3, he doesn't look like he's yoked up or anything. He looks like really actually just like he's just skinny-ish. He doesn't look like he's padded on with muscle or anything. It's just he doesn't look like the action star like a Chris Hemsworth does. That's what makes me want to put Chris Hemsworth.
That's a
good
point. But like my thing is that Chris Hemsworth, I still think like he had, like we were talking about, he has that diversity, that variety, versatility. So he's not like he is an action star, but like he still dabbles. Chris Pratt, he is not dabbling. He knows
what he is. Yes.
He's doing
Jinx.
like he's doing the Terminal List and streaming, the Tomorrow War streaming. That's turning into a franchise. And he's still doing the box office IP. Like, that's it. He's going for the money. He's doing the cash. Box office. That's why I picked Chris
Hemsworth does not dabble anymore, though. Chris Hemsworth.
Spiderhead was a dabble. Spiderhead was a dabble.
Yeah, little dab.
It was. Hulk Hogan is a big dab.
Little Cam Newton dab. I don't know. I think he knows what he is. He with Extraction too. Him like carrying his own action franchise outside of Thor. He took that on himself. And this is who he wants to be. He had his chance with Rush, Bad Times at the El Royale. It's like I don't know if he's coming back like ever to the dramatic sphere.
Hulk Hogan, he's coming back there.
Yeah, but you could argue that's a very physical role as well. That is the closest he comes back to doing a drama, but also remaining an action star. That's what he's doing.
Okay, so who are we picking here? Hemsworth, or we're going with the looks, or are we going regular everyday guy?
Oh, no offense, Chris Pratt. I love Chris Pratt because he is common man. I think he's a little too common man, so I would actually go Hemsworth.
All right, I'm fine with it.
Boom.
I'm fine with it.
Chris Hemsworth with the 5th spot. Honorable mention, Chris Pratt. Here's what I would say. Blockbuster action star, Chris Hemsworth. Blockbuster actor, Chris Pratt.
I actually don't hate that take.
All right. Interesting. But the point is, there's not a ton of people to draw from here. This pool is not like extended.
It's dwindled down over the years.
And like there are people that people are taking less risks on the big screen if they're not known bankable stars. You don't get like what we saw with Momoa with Conan, right? The Barbarian. You don't see those type of movies anymore. Remakes with absolute no names. Like Taylor Kitsch. He did, what was that movie?
John
Carter, right?
John Carter.
Remember that? Like that was going to launch his career, but he was relatively unknown aside from Friday Night Lights.
Major flop.
That stuff doesn't happen anymore. It's like now we have to go with old reliable people like Keanu, people like Tom Cruise, The Rock. audiences. It's where it's like, you're not going to lose money here. Even that goes back to the Gerard Butler debate. You're going to make money off this movie.
Yeah, because like if we did like what I was thinking about, like what we thought we were gonna do, or I thought what we were doing, which is like modern day, like 21st century, like the best action stars, like Liam Neeson was one. Like you just throw him on give him a gun or a knife, throw him in the wilderness, throw him like he will get you. Like I'm going to see that movie, you know. Gerard Butler, he does that, but like not. I don't know, not as effectively anymore, but he still does it. I think Matt Damon used to do it.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Not anymore. Angelina Jolie is a great example of someone that used to do it. Obviously different now. So like I'm just saying, like it's changed over the years where I think we just had more bankable action stars.
Do you think Tom Holland should be on this list potentially?
It's weird though. His is a weird one. But like that's a
Spider-Man?
Mark Wahlberg help as well.
True.
And Sherry was in box office, dabbled.
Like not action star.
Yeah,
know.
and Spider-Man, you would see Spider-Man no matter what.
I agree. I just want to throw that name out there if anything, because we have
He
no
will be on
young.
this list soon.
There's like no young actors that we drew from.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of others. Miles Teller is not enough.
No, and he's not even that young. It's just like
Yeah, true.
That's what I'm saying. It's like when you have like a 29-year-old. Do we have like a 29-year-old action star? That's a movie star. No.
And if you are that young and you want to do something like this, you become a superhero.
Exactly. Interesting, Ricky Flicks. We live in a weird time for this industry. I would like it to go back to the old days. That would be nice. Let's make movie theaters cool again. Fun exercise, Ricky Flicks. Thank you for joining me in that endeavor. That's going to do it for episode 237 of the Drive-In Podcast. We have conflicting reports on what Wednesday's episode will be. We might be doing an adjustment of the Pixar tiers following Elemental, right? In that release over the past weekend. Maybe we'll talk a little bit Elemental. Or we're going to rank the DCEU films. I think we're going to like kind of monitor the discourse going on online, and then we will update you via
maybe give a poll.
We'll do a poll. Yes, I like that. Let's throw a poll on there. We'll put it on Twitter. You can follow us at the Drive-In Pod. And also, we'll put a poll on Instagram at the Drive-In Pod. We want to get your input. Make sure if you're watching this on YouTube that you're liking, you're commenting, and you're subscribing. Excuse me. I was getting my platforms mixed up. Whatever platform you prefer, make sure you're following the pod. Rate us 5 stars. We dearly appreciate it. Thank you for joining us. And yeah, so that's going to do it for episode 237 of the Drive-In Podcast for Ricky Flicks and Dr. O. Until next time, we will smell ya.